Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Voice of a Teen Mom. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. Episode 2 was really hard for me to do because every time I talk about how I found out and with the reaction of my mom, I do get a little mushy. That's just a part of sharing and reminiscing on what happened. And so, this is episode 3, and I can't believe we're at number 3 already. And for today's episode, I will share my experience of when I dropped out of high school and so much more. Thanks for staying with us and stay tuned. Firstly, I want to thank everyone for their continued support to the channel, and to my first time viewers. If you haven't yet watched our previous episodes, it's never too late to do so. You can go ahead and check them out. Please don't forget, if you haven't yet subscribed, hit the subscribe button and continue to like, share the video with all your family and friends, and most importantly, a teen mom. Let's pick up from our previous episode. In episode 2, I spoke about the possibility of me being pregnant, which was highlighted from a conversation with my mother when she confronted me about it. From that, we actually had a doctor's visit on that same day, and of course, it revealed that I was definitely pregnant. It was from there it triggered a chain event of things, and the first of which would have been dropping out of school. The new school year had already started by the time we found out, and so because my stomach wasn't really showing at the time, I actually got to finish that school term. To be honest, during that school term, I could not focus on anything school related. I had so many things on my mind. I was still in the process of acknowledging that this was now my life, and I had to grapple with that for a very long time. And it took me a while to realize that this was now my reality. Apart from that, no one at school knew what was going on with me. So I had to keep that in mind and still try to go about my regular day. The school term had ended and it was the holiday season. By that time, I already knew that I wasn't going to go back to school. But there was a time when it hit me the hardest, and that was when everyone else was starting to prepare to go back to high school for the next school term. When they say something hit you in the face, that was one of the hardest hits I had to endure. I was sad, I was stressed. It really took a toll on me emotionally, and it was something I had to go through because this was now the reality. And that was just the beginning of it all. Because once school started, I started to get the messages of what is happening, why am I not at school, and I now had to deal with not only my emotions, but the emotions of others, their disappointment, not only with family, but also your schoolmates. And many of those messages I didn't even respond to because I myself wasn't processing the information, and I don't think I could have explained it to anyone or mentioned it to anyone at the time. Some of those messages even came from persons whom I considered to be a friend, and for them, I actually tried to explain and tell them the truth of what was happening with me. But from the truth, I no longer had friends. I say that because there was a sudden disassociation from me, and that caused me to start developing a lot of anger within towards the whole situation. However, that quickly changed after I reflected and realized that once I had dealt with my trauma, I saw things a lot different. And for me, maybe that was the best thing for my peers at the time. We were all young, and age doesn't really excuse a particular behavior. However, it's understandable why they would choose not to be associated with a pregnant 14-year-old girl. There are a lot of things that would have influenced their decision, and one of the biggest thing is the stigma and the stereotyping that's attached to teenage pregnancy. And I won't touch much on that because that's an episode in itself, because we love to use things such as birds of a feather flock together and just attach it to any particular situation. So, to all the friends and to all the peers of teen moms, I say to you that you must do what's best for you, and that should be focusing on your education. And to the teen moms, you too must do what's best for you. And in this situation, I think what's best is to focus on the what next, to focus on how do I use situation to make better for me and my child. I know this phase will be hard because it was definitely hard for me. There I was at home when most persons my age would have gone to school to get an education. However, I was now a high school dropout and pregnant at 14. With all that said, it's now time for a word to a teen mom. It's really heartbreaking that when a teen becomes pregnant, there's a disruption with their education. At first, it might seem as if your chances of getting an education is non-existent. You will be faced with a lot of criticism, not only from family, but also from your peers. It will not be an easy task to overcome these harsh judgments and disapproval, but you need to be strong mentally. It's going to take you some time, but once that phase is over, you will overcome. Once you get through that phase, think on how else can I get an education, whether formal or informal. You will need it because this is just one way to get you out of the stigma attached to teenage pregnancy. And that is how we will wrap up episode 3 on Voice of a Teen Mom. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode, and I know I'll be seeing you in the next one. Please continue to like the channel, share the channel to especially all our teenage moms, and if you know someone that will be encouraged and that will find this channel interesting, please share it with them. And to all those who haven't subscribed, subscribing would really help our channel. And to those who took the time out to actually subscribe to the channel, thank you for your subscription. It really means a lot, and without you, this wouldn't be possible. Thank you all in advance, and I can't express how grateful I am for all your support. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.